Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. So today we are flying out some of the aircraft that use the R-27R. Not the ER, but to try to use the normal R version to see if it actually is competitive enough to be used in the game without the ER. A lot of people were complaining about the ER, and I do think that the ER is making the Soviet kind of aircraft a lot better than everything else in the BVR. Do I think we don't need it? I mean, I don't know. I prefer to have it because before the ER, MiG-29 was really kind of struggling a little bit. But since then, they actually fixed the radar, and basically it's a lot easier to fly the aircraft. The performance is a lot better, so you can climb better and turn better, and everything is just a little bit better. And I wanted to actually test the R-27R to see if it actually is comparable, if it actually is usable in some area. As you see over here, we are using the MiG-29, the Soviet one, the 913 at first, firing the R-27R from about 30-35 kilometers, and it feels fine. I mean, obviously in the ER I would be firing from almost double that range normally. 60, 55 kilometers, 50 kilometers in a normal BVR condition. That's where most of the differences between the ER and R will be apparent, right? On the longer ranges, that's the objective on this video, because at shorter ranges, the R is just as good as the ER. Of course, the ER will have technically more energy, kinda, depends on the situation, but still, the R is fairly good. And here was kind of a bad shot, kind of just too close to actually get something. So it was kind of, I pushed it a little bit, but still, the R, as you saw on that first kill, was plenty, to be honest. I do think that while we have the M7s like they are right now, I think the balancing kind of thing, or the way that everything is balanced, is pretty alright. Because yes, the ER is better on the BVR, but you only have 2 missiles. Of course, in F-16 you also only have two missiles, but on the F-14 you have a little bit more, so it's kinda balanced in that sense. I still think that the MiG is superior, or all of these aircraft are far superior. And once we get something like an Su-27, even if we get the F-15, then we will actually see a very big power creep, I think, just due to the fact of using the ER together with having 6 ERs, for example, or at least 4 of them, together with 2 other ETs or Ts, and together with more 4 R-73s, right? So that would be a little bit worse to counter, right? And I think even though, yes, it is, one of those missiles that it has its problems, the R-27R, right? Dealing with far away targets, it still can be comparable to the Sparrow. But the detail here is that the Sparrow, some people are saying that it is overperforming. I don't know about that. I have no proof of that or anything like that. I really don't. I have just rumors that people are saying that it is overperforming. And they are saying that the managers and the devs, they already know it, and they are going to fix it at some point, but we don't know when. And with that, you can kind of see where I'm going from. So, as I was saying, if the F and the M are like they are right now, so they're not overperforming and they have the performance that they have, I think the R-27ER is alright to have in game. Even though in the future, when we have Su-27s and stuff, it will be a lot more problematic, for now it's okay. So, no reason to mess with that, right? But if they are overperforming and we actually have them nerfed in energy, some even say like 20% overperforming in energy, it will make it so that the ER will really be amazing and really be way better than the M7s. So in that area, the R would be sufficing, it would just suffice as a counter to the Sparrows, right? You would still have technically more range, not aerodynamic range, but just seeker and basically just an overall better range for very long, like kind of Hail Mary shots, if you will. So there is that. It is also a way that you can deal with those situations, right? So I think for now, if they're not going to change the Sparrow, I think having the ERs is alright until we receive something better. But if they nerf the AIM-7, then we should talk about removing the ER, I think. But only if they do that. And it would be kind of alright. There are some misconceptions as well on the sense of the dates of these missiles. For some reason, there are some official sources that say that the R-27R entered in service in like 1987, and the ER was like in 1991. But come on, in 1987, they had around 500 Su-27s, and in around close to 1,000 MiG-29s already produced. Think about 1,500 fourth generation aircraft without BVR missiles. They never used the R-24, they never used anything else. These are the missiles that they used in the 80s. So it kind of doesn't make sense that the Russians would build 1,500 aircraft without actually proper weapons to it. They would at least make an R-24 be usable on it. So it's just it's common sense, right? It doesn't make sense that these dates are there and they're correct. There are some sources that claim that for all of the 80s aircraft, we have wrong dates in official sources. Why? Because one of them was that the KGB, after in 2015, I think some unclassified stuff got released, some classified stuff got unclassified, right? And with that, there were some reports of the KGB actually messing around with the dates of the introduction of the MiG-29, of the introduction of the Su-27, of introduction of the missiles and stuff, just to make sure that NATO didn't know how many missiles they had, or if it was in full operation or not, or anything like that. So it is a very smart thing as a counterintelligence thing, if you think about it. But that made it so that a lot of these things, especially Wikipedia, say these wrong things about these aircraft and about these missiles, especially about dates. There is even a funny one that the R-60M got introduced in 1982, but that's literally the year that Germany got the R-60M. That's literally the export date of the R-60M. And sometimes it's used as the full service or the normal production of the missile. So it's very problematic, right? So yeah, with that in mind, having the ER on the MiG-29, having the ER on the ARC is a little bit different, but still on the MiG-29 makes sense. The R and the ER were both made to complement each other. They were both the same missile, they had the same capabilities, they have the same everything. So even the T version of the T variant, don't expect it to have any type of new IRCCM. It's not a new missile. It's the same missile, but with a different engine. That's pretty much it. In the factory, in the development of these missiles, they were made together to complement each other according to the performance of the radar of the aircraft that they were supposed to be used. So the MiG-29 was supposed to be using the R, and the Su-27 the ER. But even with that, I mean, they were both capable of using both of the missiles, and it was fine. So a lot of people have misconceptions about it, especially due to Wikipedia and some wrong information that we find. So I just wanted to clear that up. So it's okay of the MiG-29 having the ER, as long as it's balanced. It could take it in real life, okay? But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about the R and the ER being in the game. Do you think the ER is too OP? And make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.